Hello everyone, Kolonji Murray with TaxAssurances. Just want to do a quick video on W-2 forms. It's something that's obviously issued every year for anyone that has a regular 9 to 5 job. But for a lot of people, they still have some questions about what it is. They understand that they need to give that to someone like me when it comes to tax preparation, but they're not really quite sure, what's involved with kind of the details. So I'll just run through what the overall theme is and then kind of the individual pieces. So starting off with the overall theme, it really, people understand, is it shows how much was made in terms of income for the year. It also shows how much was paid in terms of taxes that are important for the year. Now the question really becomes, when we do the tax preparation process, when we go through the process, whether or not enough taxes were taken out, or if there was a need to have more taxes taken out. And then if in the future they need to go to their job and say, hey, do me a favor, have more taxes taken out. Obviously, if it is a refund, it's the same conversation. If people are comfortable with getting a refund and making sure that they don't owe the IRS any money, then they're okay with that. There's no need to change it. But for some people, they would like that extra money in their pocket every single paycheck, depending on their life circumstances, to kind of meet those living expenses, as opposed to waiting for it at the end of the year or end of the tax season. So there's that aspect of it. But when it comes to the individual form itself, I'll just kind of go through the different individual boxes. So the first box, that really has to do with the total income that was made that we have to consider for tax purposes. So that's the number that I, as a tax preparer, am going to put in the return to start kind of the calculation process to see what part of the income is taxable, how much was made for that particular year. Box number 2, that's another really important, probably one of the more important boxes. That's going to be a summary of what was taken out in terms of federal withholdings. That's simply going to say, when it came to the IRS, your job or jobs, if there are multiple W-2s, this is how much they took out when it came to your overall withholdings for the IRS. Box number 3, that is the calculation of the Social Security wages. Many times, box number 1, 3, and 5 are going to be different. That gets into a situation where the reason for the difference has to do with some employers offer employee benefits, and even though those benefits are received, they may not be taxable. So that's why you'll see that difference in box number 1, box number 3, and box number 5. But again, box number 3 really addresses the Social Security wages, and then box number 4, correspondingly, that has to do with Social Security withholdings. The way that works is that's not really for the tax preparation process that I'm involved with as a tax preparer. That really has to do with building up enough credits, enough taxes paid, so that one, it can go towards the people that are collecting Social Security now, but then 2, more importantly, for the individual tax preparer or taxpayer, they are now paying into Social Security. So when it is time for them to collect on Social Security, they will have paid into the system, and they will be able to take out withdrawals when they do retire, based on the credits that they are having for this particular year. So that's how that plays into both this year and in the future when someone does retire and decides that they want to start taking a certain amount of Social Security. So that's box number 4. Box number 5, that has to do with Medicare. So again, box number 1, box number 3, box number 5 are going to be different. That is what goes into the calculation for Medicare. So again, when someone reaches the age of 65, they're looking to get health benefits. That's part of what that calculation is. And then box number 6, that is the box that shows the withholdings for the Medicare. So very similar to the Social Security. This Medicare box number 6, that goes towards when someone, again, retires and they're 65 years old, they start collecting Medicare. This number for this particular year goes towards those total credits for the year, so that when people do retire and do take out Medicare, they're going to be able to get those benefits when they need them, whether it's for doctor's visits, whether it's for hospital visits or things like that. So they'll be able to be in the Medicare system when they are ready to take advantage of it. Box number 7, that has to do with Social Security tips. Number 8, we don't use a heck of a lot allocated tips. Box number 9 is an open box for now. Box number 10, that actually plays a role when it comes to daycare. For many employers, they offer childcare expense benefits. That's where I, as a tax preparer, would get that information, be able to enter that in, and be able to make that part of the calculation for the tax return. So that's why it's important to me. Box number 11, non-qualified plans, we don't come across too frequently. The various A through, I think, E boxes for box number 12, that really has to do with getting an understanding of what employee benefits were taken out during the course of the year. So you've got like group life insurance, you've got medical coverage, you've got 401k or retirement benefits that are summarized in those boxes. So that's where I would use that. Box number 13 really has to do with retirement plans as an employer, like letting us know that you are part or you have access to a retirement plan through your employer. Box number 14 is going to vary between states, but like for someone like me in New York, that's where I get various disability information and pension information and things like that. Box number 15 and 16 really have to do with the state that someone works in and then the state wages. So very frequently, box number 16 and box number 1 are going to have the same amount in it, because what we're doing now is we're just moving from a situation where that initial part, with that box number 1 through 6, shall we say, really had to do with the federal side. Now when we get to box number 15 and on, now we're dealing with the state tax return. There are certain states that do not have a state tax return, so there's no need to calculate that. But for the states that do, this is where I'm able to get that information. 1, know the state that you worked in, and then 2, know what you made working in that particular state. There are situations where I, as a New York preparer, come across situations where people live in New York and work in Connecticut, or vice versa. Same thing with New Jersey. They live in New York and work in New Jersey. So I come across situations like that. That's where information in box number 16 is important to me, in terms of making sure that when we do the calculation, we're allocating everything correctly. And again, that's going to come from the employer. Box number 17 is really important, because box number 17, that's going to let me know as the preparer how much your employer took out when it came to withholding. So making sure that, very similar to box number 2 earlier on, when we talked about the federal, now we're looking at the state and saying, okay, for box number 17, we want to make sure that enough taxes are withheld at the state level to make sure that, if you're entitled to a refund, you get that. But if you're going to owe, then you know that either you're going to make a payment plan on that, or you could have more taken out. But that's why that information in box number 17 on the W-2 is important to me. Box number 18, 19, and 20, I don't get asked frequently, but there are local municipalities that do have their own income tax. So for instance, in New York City, the city of Yonkers, they have their own city income tax on top of the federal and the state income tax. So that's where I would get that information. And again, it's critically important, in particular in box number 19, that I get an understanding of how much was withheld. Box number 18 lets me know how much you made working in that particular city. So say, for instance, like you lived in New York City and you worked in New York City, box number 1, box number 16, and box number 19, box number 18 are all going to be the same, because you're making money at the federal, state, and city level. That's all the same. There are circumstances where that does not match up. They're not the same numbers, and I'll have a conversation that kind of walks me through why that happens, and just make sure that we're accounting for it correctly. But again, box number 18 really has to do with the income that was made. Box number 19, like I said, that really has to do with making sure that enough is withheld in terms of the city taxes that you need to make sure you pay. So that's a brief overview or a brief summary of what is involved with the W-2. Obviously, if you've got more questions, by all means, you can reach out. But until then, take care.